so much. Y quiero expresar también mi respeto hacia Japón, hacia todo el equipo japonés que está aquí, hacia el equipo de Naoya y hacia todas las personas que han venido aquí a apoyar. Pero esta noche, este sábado, no va a ser la noche de samurái, va a ser la noche azteca y vamos a ganar.
Confiado, la verdad es que creo que Inoue, como cualquier ser humano, comete errores. Él es humano, muchos dicen que es un monstruo, para mí lo sigo viendo como una persona común como yo, y él también comete errores. Eso me hace sentirme muy seguro y sé que voy a ganar.
Most fighters enter the ring against Naoya Inoue already defeated. They look at the monster. They see the knockouts. They hear the bones breaking, and they freeze before the first bell even rings. But every once in a while, someone comes along who refuses to read the script. David Picasso hasn't just signed a contract to fight the pound-for-pound king. He has issued a chilling, calculated warning that has the entire boxing world pausing to ask a very dangerous question. Is the monster finally vulnerable?
Alan Picasso says the belts are going back to Mexico. What happens when the monster meets Picasso in Riyadh?
アラン・ピカソさんはこのベルトは、メキシコに戻ると言っています。モンスターがこのアラン、ピカソと戦うということはどのようなことでしょうか。
そうですね。まずこのベルトがメキシコに帰るということは 100% ありません。ピカソと戦うということはこのスーパーパンタム級で戦っていく上で一つ必要な防衛戦であると認識しているので土曜日に戦い。
Picasso isn't engaging in the usual trash talk we see to sell tickets. There's no table flipping, no screaming matches, and no fake drama. Instead, he sat down for a recent interview and delivered a dissection of Inoue that was almost surgical in its calmness. He didn't speak with hope. He spoke with the certainty of a man who has found a fatal flaw in a perfect machine. He claims to have exposed the humanity behind the myth. And he believes he possesses a secret weapon, a 100-year strategy that is going to shock the world on December 27th. The first step in Picasso's plan isn't physical, it's psychological. To beat a legend, you first have to stop treating him like one. In his conversation with Ring magazine, Picasso refused to even utter the nickname monster. To him, that word is a mental trap that opponents fall into, giving Inoue an advantage before a punch is thrown. Picasso stripped away the accolades, the belts, and the terrifying reputation, reducing the Japanese champion to a common human being. He is human. He also makes mistakes. Picasso stated, "It sounds simple, but in the context of Inoue's reign of terror, it's a radical stance. Most opponents spend their training camps worrying about how to survive. Picasso has spent his camp studying the errors that everyone else ignores because they are too busy being afraid." He noted that he feels completely calm, happy, and ready. This isn't the nervous energy of a challenger hoping for a lucky punch. It's the composure of a mathematician who has solved a complex equation. He believes that treating Inoue as invincible is exactly why others lose. And by viewing him as just another man with 2 arms and 2 legs, Picasso has already won the mental battle that destroys so many others.
As a fight, when you see him making their mistakes, do you take confidence from that?
¿Cómo te sientes tú un poquito más con más confianza cuando has visto que Inoue ha cometido errores en las peleas anteriores contra adversarios? ¿Cómo te sientes? ¿Cómo te hace sentir eso?
Pues confiado, la verdad es que creo que Inoue, como cualquier ser humano, comete errores. Él es humano, muchos dicen que es un monstruo, para mí lo sigo viendo como una persona común como yo, y él también comete errores. Eso me hace sentirme muy seguro y sé que voy a ganar.
When you've seen him fight so much this year, fighting 4 times in a year, do you think that you're catching him at the right time?
Cuando has visto que él ha peleado tanto, 4 veces al año, ¿crees que es el momento, ahora mismo es el momento adecuado para pelear contra él?
Cualquier momento hubiera sido adecuado. Llevo mucho tiempo esperando esta pelea, así que para mí no importa todo eso, importa verlo en el ring y pelear contra él y ganar.
But confidence alone gets you knocked out. What makes this warning different is the bizarre, almost mystical logic Picasso is using to justify his belief. When asked what separates him from the long list of victims on Inoue's resume, Picasso gave an answer that nobody expected. He didn't talk about his right hand or his footwork. He talked about 100 years of work. It sounds like a riddle, but for Picasso, it's a concrete reality. He explained that he isn't entering the ring alone. He views his preparation as a cumulative force. He took his own 18 years of dedication, added the 18 years of experience from his father, another 18 from his mother, and the decades from his trainer. In his mind, when he steps through those ropes, he is bringing over a century of collective boxing knowledge, discipline, and strategy focused on a single target.
What do you think makes you different from anyone Inoue's faced before?
¿Cómo crees tú que eres tú diferente a cualquier adversario que se ha enfrentado Inoue anteriormente? ¿Qué marca la diferencia entre tú y el resto?
Creo que todo el trabajo que hemos hecho son 18 años de mi vida, más 18 de mi papá, más 18 de mi madre, más 18 de mi entrenador. Es una carrera de más de 100 años de trabajo. Creo.
It's a fascinating way to frame a fight, a hive mind of experience versus a singular talent. He believes this collective effort has built a strategy so dense and well-structured that even the monster won't be able to chew through it. This 100-year theory leads directly to the tactical exposure Picasso is banking on. We have to look back at the Tokyo Dome fight against Luis Inoue. For a split second in the first round, the world stopped. Inoue was on the canvas. It was a shocking moment that proved the monster could bleed. While Inoue recovered and brutally finished Inoue, that knockdown revealed a crack in the armor that Picasso has been obsessively studying. The flaw is in the aggression. Analysts have pointed out that Inoue, for all his brilliance, has a habit of opening his guard wide when he loads up for his most destructive shots. He relies on his offense to be his defense. Picasso's warning is rooted in this specific mechanic. He isn't planning to run. He's planning to time those openings. The human side of Inoue is that he gets hit when he gets greedy. Picasso's team believes that if you can survive the power, the openings are there to be exploited. The blueprint isn't to overpower Inoue, but to catch him in the middle of his own violence, exactly like Inoue did, but with a plan to finish the job.
Luis Inoue was able to knock down Naoya Inoue in the very first round. Very first round. Now, this all happened when Naoya Inoue went in for an uppercut and left himself unguarded. Now imagine if somebody else with just as much power, if not more power than Inoue, would have hit him. Because that day, whether we like to admit it or not, I am a Naoya Inoue fan. But that day, we know that if Luis Inoue would have landed a harder punch, if he would have been a bit stronger, that could have been lights out for Naoya Inoue. And a monster as we know it could have been over off of that one simple mistake. So, coming up in this next fight against a young 24-year-old Alan Picasso in Las Vegas, Nevada, oh yes, it's Naoya Inoue's homecoming back to, well not homecoming, but coming back to the United States of America and giving the United States people a show, right? The young man he is strong, maybe not as strong as Inoue, but he is fast, if not just faster than Inoue. So if he can implement that and figure out how to get in there when Naoya Inoue has got his right hand down when he's throwing the left hook or the left uppercut, it could be a wrap. Y'all let me know what y'all think. But this is Jake's point of view, right? This is my point of view. He cannot continue to do this. He has gotten away doing this against a lot of opponents. But that day, we saw what happened. And yes, granted, the man did come back and he won that fight in crazy fashion. He knocked down Inoue a couple times and he ended up finishing him.
Stylistically, this is a nightmare matchup that could validate Picasso's confidence. He isn't a stationary target. Picasso brings something called educated volume to the ring. He throws punches in bunches, not recklessly, but with precision. History has shown that if there is anything Inoue dislikes, it's being forced to reset constantly by a fighter who won't stop throwing.
Picasso, is that a tune-up for him? Should he handle that with?
Picasso, I feel like Inoue is going to do what he needs to do. Inoue is a great fighter, and no knock on Picasso. I just don't think that he's just on Inoue's level. Anything could happen. We've seen Inoue down with what we would say lesser opponents, because I don't think that people expected Inoue to go down against Cardenas, and he did. So Picasso might have a chance. As always, a puncher always has a chance. So something could happen, but at the end of the day, I think, you know, through and through, Inoue is the better fighter.
You know, Inoue, is he getting dropped in part because of the chances? Is this something he's capable of avoiding? Like we saw against MJ, he dialed it down. He was a little more patient, and so is he getting dropped because that's Inoue? Like that's just a flaw of who he is, or is it something he's allowing to happen a little bit lately? You know?
I can't say he's allowing it to happen.
Yeah,
I think it's a bit of both, because he even, like, to be honest, he was like that even when he fought Donaire.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So this is not something that's just new that's
Right.
happening. It's always been there. He's just been able to get away with it because of his offense and his sharpness. A lot of guys might pull back on certain punches that might get him down. So yeah, you know, I think it's a bit of it is just about who he is. You know what I'm saying? But like you said, he dialed it down with the MJ fight, and he's learning from his mistakes.
Then there is the physical disparity. Picasso holds a significant height and reach advantage, roughly 3 in on both fronts. This isn't insignificant. If Picasso can establish a long jab and keep the fight at a distance, Inoue's ability to close the gap becomes risky. Reports from the camp suggest a heavy focus on body attacks. We've seen fleeting moments where Inoue looks uncomfortable when forced to sustain pressure to the body. Picasso intends to use his range to pepper the champion's midsection, draining the gas tank and forcing those human mistakes to appear in the later rounds. It's a game of inches, and Picasso believes he has the ruler to measure them perfectly.